So in this mammoth Titan-sized box right here is the subject for some controversy for Sideshow. This, of course, is the Sideshow life-size bust of Venom. And for the better part, most of the recent busts have not been received very well. I think the only one that people really raved about was their Deadpool bust. But Venom here, when it was shown at New York Comic Con last year, everybody was excited about it. We posted a picture about it. It was like insane how many likes it got. People loved it. And then when we started to see pictures of the finalized piece, then everybody felt like this was not worth it. So let's put an end to that. Let's see what this thing looks like and get it out of the box. All right, so this is my first life-size bust. So in case you're wondering, the bust does not come with any kind of art box. It's just two shipping boxes. And then you have the statue in there all as one in one hole in the styrofoam, so nothing there. You do get this little cover that was put over it that has the picture of the bust and then your seal from Sideshow, and that's it. And if you're looking for key issues for Venom, of course the one to get is the Amazing Spider-Man number 300. This is the first full appearance of Venom, published in May of 1988 with artwork from Todd McFarlane. And another comic to get would be Amazing Spider-Man number 316. This is the second full appearance of Venom. It's the first cover appearance of Venom, and it's just one really badass cover by Todd McFarlane. And another really sought after cover is Venom Lethal Protector number 1. But what I found out recently is that this one actually came in variants, and the variants are worth more than the actual first cover. The one that is really expensive is the white edition cover, which was a variant error. And Venom recently had his time on the silver screen with Tom Hardy playing the role of Eddie Brock. I myself was not a huge fan of this movie, although it is greenlit for a second one, so I'm hoping this new one is going to be much better than the first. Woo! There it is, all put together. The Sideshow life-size bust of Venom, and this thing is massive. I will say this is the easiest thing I've ever put together ever. But I mean, is it something that I would have in my collection, something that I would want to keep in my collection? This thing is very, very big, and you know, for the average fan, I don't know that this is something that would be something to get, especially at the cost. This thing is like over $1,000. Yeah, so I don't know if this is something that I would get, but I think for somebody who's an uber fan of Venom, I think it looks really cool. I think this one is leaps and bounds better looking than the original Sideshow life-size bust of this character. So let's talk about size. You know, if you get this thing, where the hell are you gonna put it? So Venom is at width about 20 inches wide. He's roughly 27 and a half inches tall, and it's about 18 inches deep. It's not that deep. So this is something that could actually probably fit into a PAX. You may even be able to get this thing into a Besta if you were to adjust the shelves a little bit. It's not a heavy piece. You saw me lifting it up and everything. Very light. You know, I was surprised about that in comparison to something of its size. Like when I got like another statue, other statues would be much heavier at this size. But yeah, I mean, it's cool looking. I gotta say, it is very, very cool looking. I love what they did with the eyes right here. There's like this nice gloss to it, and then there's this translucence, just like there's some kind of like black specks or dots on the inside of the eyes that I think really gives it some depth. The way they did the effect of the symbiote on the body, the muscles, the texturing they did there, I think that looks fantastic. I love the way the logo looks like that. I think that looks really good. You know, from the looks of him, when you see him, he just looks very, very, very powerful. What has people up in arms with this piece is that when we saw this one at New York Comic Con, the New York Comic Con one that we saw had an extreme amount of glossy stuff that looked like saliva coming out of the mouth, and it was dripping from the teeth, and the teeth had a translucence to it that looked really good. It was more white than what I'm seeing here. This is a little bit on the yellow side. The yellowing really doesn't bother me that much. I think that looks kind of cool. You know, so I think they did a nice job with that. It has some really good coloring and texture in there, and I think that makes the teeth look kind of like rotting almost, which I think looks really neat. The saliva, though, I think they could have done a little bit more with. I think that on some of the teeth here, you have it dripping, and when you look at it forward on, it just looks like rounded out instead of being sharp like it should be, you know. And so I think it would have looked a little bit cooler if they somehow managed to make the saliva drip further down the mouth so that it looked more like saliva, or maybe even have the saliva connect to the two teeth together so you have this like section there. Although I imagine that would make it much more fragile. But that, I think, is what I remember what I saw at New York Comic Con that made me see this and say, man, what an impressive piece. But still, this is a very impressive statue, no doubt about that. So that's my thoughts about that. I mean, there's not really much to say about this thing. It's a bust. There's not a whole lot of other things going on here for me to really elaborate on, to go on. You know, I think the paint's done well. But yeah, I think that it's a nice piece for a guy who is a huge fan of Venom. So, as always, I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments.